Okay, it's working now. Okay.
Oh. Will you be able to?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, see, it's doing the seconds down there. So okay.
Okay.
Oh, hi! This is the third time trying to tape this.
They're going to think we've been into it.
We are joining you from lovely Millbank, Ontario, where we're waiting for our lunch to be delivered to the car. We're at Anime's. It's a Mennonite bakery and restaurant. It's famous for their broasted chicken, so that's what we've ordered. And it's coming with potato salad.
And coleslaw.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Kelly. Kelly, we're getting coleslaw because of you. So we've been to 2 thrift stores so far. We went to New Hamburg, which was we were in line, but we got right in.
Yeah.
We didn't have to wait at all.
Yeah.
And then we went to the one in Milverton. Again, no lineup.
That was a cute store. I like that little one.
It is cute. Oh, and we went to the bakery, Gunther's Bakery, to get the really good bread. And I think I've mentioned it before, but this bakery dates back to 1894, and when you walk through that door, you're in 1894.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So, yeah. So next up, we're gonna go to Elmira, and we're not gonna sing it.
Oh, all right.
Unless you really want to. Maybe when we get there, we'll be inspired to sing.
I've seen horse and buggies.
Yep. Seen horses and
They're
buggies.
everywhere out here.
Yep. And green roof houses.
And green roof houses. And Dutchman's pants.
That's right. We've learned a lot. Thank God for Google. Okay, we'll be back. Oh, you didn't tell us what your favorite thing was.
The book.
The book. You
book.
got a book at
And you know what?
Milverton.
Those 2 little swatches of fabric.
Those were fat quarters.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep. No, that's a good size hunk of fabric.
That'll be a few books.
It will. And I think I got some fabric too, which I'm pretty
You did
happy with.
really well.
Yeah,
You're a machine in the store.
Kind of did.
Yeah.
Well, the
Those
one
little envelopes.
Oh yeah, I got
The
coin
little
envelopes.
So cute.
Oh, it'll come to me later. Bye.
Okay, so should we say that? We're camping. Cheers. We're actually exhausted. We just got back. Nancy took me to, I think, every single thrift shop in this area of Ontario.
Not even close. We could do 2 more days.
Oh my goodness.
But it took a long time because they were far afield.
It was such a nice drive. Like, I saw horses and Mennonites and their little carts and their buggies, yes.
And their green roofs.
Oh, yeah, and we had a good lunch. And I got a few things. Like little ones that are especially nice. I like the white can that I got. I'll do a thrift haul when I get home of everything I got. Hold on. Okay, we got questions.
You want me to take half and then we'll just go back and
That's a
forth?
good idea. You can start.
Oh, Elizabeth. Yes. Have you always loved thrift stores, or did you start going when you started making jewelry? We talked about this today on our live. Yeah. No, always loved thrift
Always
stores.
loved thrifting. Ever since I was a child, the church I was raised in would have a rummage sale every November.
Oh, church rummage sales
Oh,
are the best.
So good, so good. And then as a teenager, on my lunch break, I worked downtown Toronto, and on my lunch break, I would go over to the Goodwill that was over at Church and Queen, I want to say. There was a big Goodwill there. And I was just there all the time. Always loved it.
Always.
Oh, next one.
Next one. Who asked us?
Penny. This one's from Penny. I would love to know some of the jobs you've had in your life.
Oh. I worked at Baskin Robbins when I was a teenager.
Oh. Did you get to eat as much as you wanted?
No.
Because I worked at Dairy Queen, and we were allowed to eat and take ice cream home. It was great.
I had the wrong job.
Yeah.
And then, right out of high school, went into nursing school. Was a nurse for 22 years. And now I'm a social worker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good. I really am the jack of all trades, master of none. No, I am a master of one. I am a licensed hairstylist and barber. But I've also done a whole bunch of things. I always had jobs to complement our family income so that I could stay at home with all the kids. So I've done things like I was a doula for many years. I don't know how many babies I've seen come into this world. I've lost count. I have been a sign language interpreter. I've illustrated a couple of children's books. And I also illustrated for a little company that made photocopyable Zoom units for teachers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I liked doing that for a while. And then it went under, so that job went under. I've done. My very first job was labeling urine bottles at Excelsior Life Insurance Company. Mm-hmm. They weren't used yet.
Oh.
But I really loved the shock value of saying my first job was labeling urine bottles.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't come out with that first.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, you're next.
Oh, this is another. Oh, Kathleen. Kathleen wants to know, why do you think Canada has better and older books in its thrift stores than we do in the U.S.?
Do we? I haven't done a lot of thrifting in the U.S. Not a lot.
And I don't really see a lot of really good old books in thrift stores. I'm more likely to see them at like church rummage sales or yard sales or estate sales for sure. Estate sales.
Yeah, they're usually pretty beat up if they're in a thrift store, but they can still be fun.
They can be, and I have picked up things at thrift stores, but I think maybe the thrift stores will just think, oh, this is crud. But I know for sure one of the thrift stores here in Kitchener, they just recycle books. And
They don't even put them on the shelf.
They just put them in a bin. And I said, what are you doing? He says, we can't sell them. Wow. Nobody wants them. I said, I do. Yeah. So I think you're in as good a shape in the US as we are here, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. For me, I think a lot of it is pure luck. Like, it's pure luck that I got that little church that has that sale. That's pure luck. And I didn't even know it was there for years. We would drive home from up north, and there was a sign on the side of the highway that always said book sale. And it was just constantly up. And I thought, I wonder if there's just constantly a book sale there. And I finally Googled it, and then I went there, and it was sort of, whoa, this is wonderful.
Book sales at the libraries often have good vintage and antique books too.
And they get the cool, then you get the neat pocket in the back that I like. Yeah. All right. Here's a good one. Charity and Loretta both wanted to know, how did you get started in junk journaling?
I got the same question.
Oh, okay. So Elizabeth asked that as well. Thank you, ladies. I just typed them out.
You copied and pasted?
I did.
I'm trying to think. Well, I always dabbled in antiques, reselling or flipping antiques for
That's how I found you.
probably the last 25 years. And then I started doing the YouTube, and people would comment, you should look at doing junk journals, because some of the stuff that I would bring home was really junk journal-y.
Yeah.
I thought, what is this junk journal thing? And then I found out what it was. And I used to be a scrapbooker. In fact, my sister Pam owned a scrapbook store. And I taught classes at her store. But I've only been doing the journal thing probably maybe 2 or 3 years.
I've always been a journaler. My children someday will probably say, no, I'm also a journal burner.
Oh, good.
Yep. If I'm writing to really, really express myself, I'm writing it to get it off my chest, and I want it burned. so it's not saved for posterity. But I did start keeping a bullet journal.
I kept a bullet journal too.
Yeah, and I found
that was
for
about
me
6 years ago, I think.
See, and that's how I found out about junk journaling, because I like the artsy way that some people. There's some amazing bullet journalers out there. So I was always watching on YouTube bullet journaling videos, and YouTube said, "You like bullet journaling? You might like junk journaling." And I
do.
Yes. And then it was a real fluke, and one of the questions is in here somewhere. So I'm not sure where it is, but I might as well say it now. That's sort of how I found you, because I also love watching thrift hauls on YouTube. And that's how I found you on YouTube, because of the thrift hauls. You used to take the camera with you when you go to the stores. Every once in a while. Yeah. And I loved that. And I thought, her accent, I know that accent. That accent sounds like home. And then you mentioned one of the towns, and I said,
yeah,
she lives near me. And that's when I sort of started pestering you and leaving messages saying your neighbor. I would just remark on your video and just say your neighbor from over here down the road. And then up comes a video from you about a journal you're making, and I thought, oh my goodness, she likes junk journaling as well.
Weird.
Yeah. So,
and I started following you.
probably because I was
Because you were following me. Yeah, I followed you and saw what you were doing. And I decided that I really liked what you're doing, and I wanted you to be my crafty crush.
She did.
I propositioned you.
But you know what? It's true, because we do have a similar style. Whenever we can, we prefer to use the real thing,
Yes,
rather than a digital print, or like even not too much scrapbook paper. Scrapbook paper, yes, but not overload.
Yeah. So, okay. Oh.
That was our question. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
Oh, Pam wanted to know.
Pam was the one who wanted to know, and that.
Who started this relationship? Well, you were a stalker, then I was a propositioner.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you offered me a ring, and I said, I do.
I do.
Because it turned out we got along.
and it was funny, because every conversation we would come up with another thing that we both loved.
Yeah. Even if it was food.
Food, definitely food.
Yeah.
And we decided that we're going to be roommates at the nursing home.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
All right, are you next, Jeremy?
What is the first journal you made? First one I made was Laura Ingalls Wilder, on the shores of Silver Lake, or on the banks of Plum Creek. It's on my shelf at home.
Oh, you still got it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there is a footprint. And actually, I went through it the other day, and I thought, I did okay.
Yeah.
I was expecting
it.
I was expecting it to be very maybe.
It had always been scrapbooking, though.
Yeah.
I did quite a few that got thrown out because of errors I made cutting papers and such, and errors that I thought initially all I ever wanted to do ever was make little gold book junk
Me
journals.
too.
I
think I had 200 of them at one time.
Me too. And I thought that's all I ever want to do, and
I did.
Yeah, but for my very first one, I can't remember whether it was a Beatrix Potter little book or Flower Fairies little book. It was one of those little type books that I did.
made the spine.
Yeah, where I busted out the spine and made it a little bit bigger because they're way too little to become a journal. Yeah. I think it was a Beatrice Potter book. Penny would like to know, what type of books do you enjoy reading for pleasure, and what would you say your favorite book is?
I like historical fiction.
Do you like Outlander?
I read Outlander twice.
Ah,
I read the whole thing when my kids were tiny, like 25 years ago. I read the whole series, and then when the Outlander series on TV came out, I read them again. And I really like her writing. I can remember one line in one of the books that she's talking about Jenny knitting, and the sister, Jamie's sister Jenny, was knitting, and
should we pause? Hold on, should we pause? Do you want us to put this up?
no,
We're okay?
okay. Maybe I will. Maybe.
You're serious? This is okay? All right.
And she was just Claire Peterson, and was describing the smell of the wool, and I could just, like, all of my senses were tapped in: the lighting, the sound of the needles clicking, the smell of the wool. I just really appreciated her writing.
Yeah.
But I seem to be reading a lot of like World War II era right now.
I like the British ones of that kind.
Yeah.
Like Two Fronts to Cross the Mercy and that. I love those ones where it's a young woman coming of age and getting confidence in herself. I love those ones. I think that was one of them. My favorite book is Jane Gross in Brooklyn.
I recently saw a copy of that.
Oh, okay, we gotta put it in. All right. So I had to take a break because the trailer nearly took off. It's really windy now, but it's not raining. Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, good weather. I just lost focus for a minute.
But you got it now.
Yeah.
We're good. So my favorite book is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. It's the first book that actually made me sob out loud.
I watch that movie every Christmas. It seems to be on at Christmas time.
I wonder why. Anyhow, so, and through Thrifting, I have a first edition copy of
Do you?
it. Yep. And then I have another copy that I think one day I'll make into a junk journal because it's not it's just a regular copy of it. But it's old. But I'm the same with you. I also like just books about history. I like learning about what happened when.
Mm-hmm.
I love learning about how people lived, which is why I love doing genealogy. I try to imagine how my ancestors, what would their house have been like, what would their daily duties have been like, and I enjoy that. So I like history things.
Yeah.
I guess it's why I like old things.
That's why we like each other.
Yes. I'm old.
Deborah wants to know, how did you come up with the names of your YouTube channels?
Ah.
Oh, I have to answer first? Oh, I see. I think it's kind of complex. And I think maybe I saw something somewhere about lions. Some people see wishes, some people see weeds. And I thought, yeah, it's good. I'm seeing the possibility in things that other people might go, yeah, there's no value here. It's a nuisance. It's a weed, and I like to see opportunity and rebirth, and yeah,
And it's a pretty flower as well as
absolutely.
what people think is a weed.
Yeah. So that's how it got wishes and weeds.
That's very appropriate for thrifting and for jumping.
Yeah.
Mine was when I first started making junk journals, I was mostly like giving them away or taking a pittance of money, and it really wasn't a business, so I didn't have a name for it. And then when I started making some and thinking, okay, maybe I'll try an Etsy shop, and my Etsy shop was going to need a name. By that time, I was taking my books in to show my mom, and she loved looking through my books because they're full of old stuff, and her eyes would just light up, and she would just enjoy every single page turn. And so then I got to thinking like that my books were taking her to her happy place. So I thought, okay, well, I knew what her and Dad had a happy place, and it was Sunnyside in Toronto, which was, what would you call Sunnyside? Did you know about Sunnyside?
I don't know Sunnyside.
Sunnyside was down on the waterfront in Toronto. It's not there anymore, but it was, they had concerts there, they had a dance hall there. There were games you could play. Like, I actually have a few prizes that my dad won for my mother at Sunnyside that she saved, because you could win these ceramic things. Now they're valuable at antique things. And that was their happy place on the weekends. They'd get all dressed up beautifully to go down to Sunnyside, and there'd be, you could hear a band play and have something to eat, and that was their happy place to go. It was a big closet and they could get in, and you could just have a wonderful time on next to nothing. So I thought, well, that was her happy place. I'm going to name it Sunnyside. Nice. So that's how my name came about. Here we go. Kathy wants to know, what is your favorite part to making a journal?
I would say I know what parts I don't like.
Choosing the papers?
Choosing papers. I would say when I discover some perfect thing, like it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I did that, the chocolate box,
That was
the
incredible.
chocolate box journal, and like I found the perfect fabric for the spine. So like I enjoy it, all of it, but I get, you know, little extra buttons from the perfect thing. Oh, this is gonna be
It just all comes together like this.
yeah. And
Yeah.
anything I can sew.
Yeah, you're in sewing.
Yeah.
And you have a clean book. My favorite is always the cover and finding the right end papers. I love a beautiful old cover. And I've found now that sometimes the uglier the better. They end up being more fun and pretty.
It's not obedience of wish.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I like covers and end papers the most, I think.
Fawn asks, what other artistic pursuits do you enjoy? You gotta go first now.
I enjoy drawing and painting. Whimsical kind of drawing. I used to aspire to try and be a lifelike artist, and it was always frustrating. And when I embraced just fun, I do enjoy that.
I like your smiling face too.
Oh,
With glasses.
with glasses. Yeah, I don't. I mean, doing hair, I find that very artistic.
Yeah.
And that was a nice way for me to, when I had to earn a living, to still be artistic and make money. Especially, I love doing bridal hair. Bridal, grads, proms, grade 8 grads were the best because they weren't snooty yet. They were just happy to get their hair done. So it was usually their first time to come out.
I love watching those videos of bridal hair.
So,
Yeah.
how about you?
Me? I have always enjoyed textiles, so I learned how to knit when I was 4 or 5. I sewed clothes for my dolls when I was little. Well, I had dolls till I was about 15.
You too.
You freak.
Me too. I had the 1959 Barbie because I was born in '59 with
I
the
didn't
brown.
have a
She
Barbie.
looks like a brown afro.
I never had a Barbie.
I love Barbies.
My friend Chrissy Pike had Barbies, and I'd go over to her house and play Barbies with her. Yeah, I never had a Barbie. I had a Mitzi, and Mitzi was 18 inches tall.
I don't remember Mitzi.
Well, it was probably some off-brand. Who knows? We was Poe. about making clothes for her.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we're close.
She went through a Gone with the Wind period. It had hoop skirts.
And you made one?
I made a hoop skirt out of wire, like the petticoat out of wire, and I had a real Gone with the Wind thing. Yeah. So anything with fabric, thread. Yeah. I was a big quilter for a while until I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. I will do more quilting. Yeah, because there's a couple projects I didn't get rid of.
Very cool. I've never quilted. I think because my mom made such amazing ones, I didn't need to quilt.
My mom didn't do anything. I knew she knew how. I remember her knitting something for Mark when I was pregnant with Mark. And I think she knit him a sweater. But this wasn't her thing.
My mom quilting big time, and she started it later in life. My sister-in-law got her going in it, but she said she thoroughly enjoyed it for a long time. All right, my question?
Yeah.
All right, Loretta wants to know, were you a teacher previously? Previously? That's the question.
Well, I taught at my sister's store, and except during the pandemic, because I would not take any students through to do remote placements, but I always have students, and for a while, MSW students. Well, sometimes I have bachelor students too, doing their social work practicum. But for a while there, I had students in several different offices that I was supervising. Yeah, and I go to the School of Social Work at University of Laurier. I actually taught them through my PhD at Memorial in Newfoundland, and Doug would like me too. And I could teach for the masters because I do teaching, but I also love my job.
Well, that's everything, right?
I love my job. I hate my job, but I love my job.
Well,
You are a teacher.
yeah, sort of in a way. I guess kind of in a way, but I homeschooled my kids. But we did a style of homeschooling called unschooling. So there was no uninvited teaching.
Right.
Is what it's called in unschooling. My children chose what they wanted to learn, and we just simply facilitated and just helped bring together the information for them as much as they wanted for as long as they wanted, and they just went from there.
And I think that's a way for life learning in general.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted, because they did start off in school, and they were starting to come home going, it's so boring. And I, as a child, I didn't enjoy school, and I didn't want them to not like learning, because there's a difference, I felt. So I had friends that were homeschooling, so I pulled them out of school and said, all right, we're going to try it for 1 year. And then every year we kept trying it for 1 year. Now some of them slowly went back into school. A few of them, 4 of them went into high school, and they just simply, I walked out to high school and signed them up. And if the high school didn't know what to do with them. And I said, just put them in class, they'll figure it out. And they did. That's why I don't worry about this pandemic. Children,
Right.
For most children, are going to do just fine.
Anyhow, they're going to be exactly where they are with their peers.
Yeah, they're going to do just fine. Anyhow, yes, so sort of in a way I was, but I really don't think I taught them. I think I just facilitated an educational atmosphere.
You're still very much a teacher. Like today when we were, I want to know more about this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
You had to look that for me and learn me up.
Oh yeah, on the Dutchman's pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll explain that later.
No, we didn't. Charity wants to know, do you ever try any of the old recipes you find in those recipe cards before you put them in journals? No. involve
Cooking.
cooking.
We don't like cooking.
We enjoy the other part of that, the eating part. Yeah,
I'm a good cook.
I'm an excellent cook.
It's just not my favorite thing to do. And I think I cooked myself out with that big channel.
Yeah. You know what? If somebody said to me every morning, today you are cooking this, that, and that, I would do it and happily do it. But it's the whole, I don't even know how to pull together a meal.
Well, that's why I like summer. It's some sort of grilled meat and a
And a
salad.
salad. Yeah.
That's good food.
Yeah, yeah. And me, seriously, I could live on Cheerios for the rest of my life. If I didn't have to feed Doug from time to time. Yeah. When I was single, I could live like on an English muffin and a piece of cheese. Like, I really don't care.
Well, for me, and it's quite evident, I think I could eat pizza every day. And I don't care whether it's a frozen pizza or gourmet pizza or flown in from Chicago. I just love pizza.
Yeah.
Veggie pizza.
Yes. Tea and cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cookies. Cheese and crackers.
Okay,
Yeah. No, we're not doing any recipes.
No, we don't. We don't do the recipes. I don't. Loretta wants to know if you read all the books you purchase. No. Some of them I get caught up in.
Yes. Sometimes I'll read a book just to get enough of a general idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, okay, no, I didn't read this one. When I did Evangeline, I went onto YouTube and got an Audible book and listened to it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And that's how I knew what the poem was about.
Cool. Well, every once in a while, one will catch my eye and I'll read it. That's why I hate when I use portions like Charlotte's Web, because I'll start reading Charlotte's Web and then I'll be wondering at my desk when Charlotte dies every time it gets me. Sometimes the very old books and very old music I will pre-read to make sure there's nothing inappropriate in it.
Yep.
Because there is some socially very inappropriate things in old books.
Yes.
So I will read those. I'm actually reading that one that I found.
Yeah,
Life
that was
is fascinating. Yeah. It's like,
I've watched documentaries for them.
yeah, very fascinating. So I am reading that right now. But no, I don't read them all. But sometimes it appeals to me to purchase a book because I have read it. Okay.
Oh, I'm back to the beginning.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you two.
Can I ask you the same question?
There's 3 left. So here, you take those.
Maybe you would like to share the scariest thing that has ever happened to you.
Oh.
I was at work, and this was not too many years ago. And I'm on the phone with a client. I'm sharing an office at the time, and my roommate, my office mate, she was on the phone with legal aid at the courthouse, talking to legal aid at the courthouse. And a body walked by my window with a rifle.
That doesn't happen up here.
I screamed, "Get down! He's got a gun!" And of course, our windows are almost the full wall. I went flying down the hall, slid under a desk, blew out my knee, took off a toenail, called the police. Everybody else is trying to lock everything down, and we all gathered in the boardroom because I got, and my headset went flying. Her headset went flying. So now legal aid is from the courthouse is calling the police. So they're getting calls from 2 different places
About someone with a gun.
somebody with a gun. So we all got into the boardroom because there's no windows in the boardroom, and we all sat on the floor because we thought if he's going to start firing, he'll be at standing,
goodness.
right? And so we're in the dark on the floor, and I said, where's Jordan? Because it didn't occur to me that he was there that day, and it was, I mean, it was black, and he said, "I'm right here, Mom."
Oh.
Anyway, they did get him. They did arrest him. They wanted me to do a witness impact thing, and I said, "Why?" Like the Crown Attorney called me and said, "Would you do?" Because technically, I'm really the only one that saw him. And I said, "Why? What will that do?" And she said, "Well, it will impact his sentencing." And I said, "I don't think people with mental illness should go to jail." And she said, "Well, he's not mentally ill. He's a drug addict." And I said, "Drug addiction is a mental illness."
Yeah.
I don't want to be part of that. So that was definitely. We had the rest of the day off.
Yeah.
We had people, specialists come to do safety stuff. You know what we did find out? We had panic buttons we have panic buttons in our interview rooms and a panic button at the front desk, and our panic buttons weren't hooked up to anything.
Oh, what a way to learn.
Yeah, they weren't hooked up to anything. So we were hitting the panic button, nobody would have responded. So they are working now.
And see, the reason, maybe we should explain, the reason that is an issue, there's no open carry up here where we live.
No.
You can't walk down the street just carrying a rifle out in the open.
He had a crossbow in a bag on his back too.
Oh my.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
It wasn't until the police came to get my statement.
Good thing so. Good thing so. For me, the scariest thing, see, my scariest thing was just suddenly becoming a single mother overnight. Overnight. Terrified me. And also not only to be a single mother, I try to explain to people the difference. I was also a solo mother. I had no help. So it was all on me. All the house, the food, getting them to appointments, trying to keep a semblance of home and family. Like not even help with the dentist. I was a sole parent, and
at times you must have thought, do I have the energy to sustain this?
I was terrified. Well, and I also thought I'm going to ruin my kids because I can't do all this. And we survived. You know, they really showed it.
Kids are very and if you give them expectations, they will rise to them.
Yeah, if they ever. But yeah, I think that's the scariest thing for me was more so than being a single parent, being a solo parent.
Guns.
Yeah, no gun. There was no guns involved in that. Yeah, I think that would be what this is. No, there's one more. Yeah. There's one more. Because I know it. Well, Fawn wants to know if you know any good jokes.
No, not clean ones.
Okay, the only joke I know, because I really don't know any good jokes, she says she likes how I laugh. And I just blurt. So my daughter Jordan told me this joke. Grasshopper walks into a bar, sits down at the bar, and the bartender says, "Oh, I've got a cocktail named after you." And he said, "Really? You've got a cocktail named Murray?"
Grown. Dad joke. That's a dad joke.
There's one here, and it must have got missed.
I got Kelly.
Oh, Kelly's question.
Yeah.
That's
What?
just Sprite.
I know. Kelly wants to know, or Kelly says, "I'd be down to hear about how you ladies met your hubbies if you're interested in sharing those stories." We talked about this last night.
Yeah.
It sounds like you both hit the jackpot, just like I have in that respect. Oh, that's good, Kelly.
Yeah. Everyone should hit the jackpot. Yeah.
I guess it is my turn.
Yeah.
I met Doug at a bar. She's very good. Back in my 80s, and I was meeting a friend there, and I had a crossword puzzle with me because I wasn't sure, I didn't go to bars by myself, but I thought if I sit by myself with a crossword puzzle, nobody will bug me.
And you look nonchalant.
And I looked nonchalant, and he was sitting a table or two away, and he said, "Let me know if you need help with that." And I thought, "You cocky SOB." So he came over and he finished my crossword puzzle, and I was wearing a T-shirt that said, I don't know if you remember this or not. There was a whole series of T-shirts that said co-ed naked something team, and mine was co-ed naked nursing team. And he said, "Oh, you're a nurse," and I said, "Yeah." "Oh, well, my mom's a nurse. Where do you work?" And so I told him where I work. He says, "Oh, my grandmother lived there." I said, "Oh, who's your grandmother?" So he told me. I loved his grandmother.
Aww.
Actually, I was there the morning she died.
Aww.
And I knew his cousin was there, and his brother was there. I knew them from high school.
That's cool. I love when things come around like that.
We were born like blocks apart.
Wow.
He knew my older brothers and sisters very well because he went to school with them.
Wow.
And it was just all in the neighborhood. We knew each other's people, and yeah.
Wow. That's so.
But that was how it was the co-ed naked nursing.
That would do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the crossword puzzle.
Yeah, you're probably hot.
I was young. I was 27.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And how did you meet this one?
That guy. We were sort of set
I
up.
bet she knows I'm in his school.
Uh-oh.
Talk her up.
My daughter started dating this really nice guy, Brandon. Super nice guy. So she was always hanging out at Brandon's house because they were at that stage in dating where you're either at the one parent's house or the other parent's house. Well, at the time, Brandon's father, Mike, his best buddy, was hanging around a lot because his wife had passed away. And he would hang around at Mike's house. And Allison would go flitting through because she's quite bubbly and effervescent, and she's a sweetheart. And Dan would say to Mike, "Wow, she's a sweetie. Brandon's new girlfriend, she's really cute." And Mike said to him, "When you're ready to start dating,
You gotta meet the mother.
you need to meet Allison's mother."
You think Allison's good.
Yeah.
She's a hybrid. You gotta meet the real thing.
And then Allison came home to me and said, Brandon's dad, Mike, his best friend Dan, is a really nice guy, and he needed her phone to ask me, "Would you go out?" And I've been on a few bad dates now, and I don't want to date any more idiots. But then I thought, I knew Mike, and he was such a nice guy, and I thought, Mike is so nice, there's no way his good friend would be an idiot. He must be a nice guy. And then finally, I guess a few months went by, and Mike and Dan were sitting at Dan's kitchen table, and Dan said, "Oh, I think I'm ready for a friend. I think I'd like to just have someone I could, maybe go plan dinner with, And Mike said, "Okay, you need to phone Catherine." And Dan said, "Well, just leave her number here, and when you leave, I'll give her a call." "No, I'm not leaving. You're going to pick up the phone, and you're going to call her." And apparently that went back and forth for a little while. I'll get back to it later after this. For anything I missed out on.
See the eyebrows?
Yeah. Anyhow.
You don't know what you're talking about.
And then he phoned, and
the rest is history.
The rest is history. He took me out for sushi. And food is the way to my heart.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, you don't like sushi?
I don't. I don't.
Oh. I bet you'd like to cook Japanese food.
Yeah, I've been to a sushi place.
Like tempura things and that.
Yeah.
The teriyaki things. And the noodles. They're good.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably the raw fish part that you don't like. Well, we like
It's
the
a
raw fish.
texture thing for me.
Yeah, and that makes
It's not a
sense.
flavor thing. It's a texture thing.
Like prosciutto.
Yeah. Prosciutto. I can't
I
think
get
prosciutto.
that. It's not salmon. I mean, salmon.
I don't know if I've ever had smoked salmon.
But you probably it's kind of a slimy.
But you made a good match.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then it just feels like family because now, think about it, Mike and Dan, best friends, they're both grandparents to the same children. They're both grandpas to these three little grandchildren. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
And we didn't really have a best man or a maid of honor at our wedding, but we did ask people to come up and sign our license. You know how you look at
Yeah.
So Mike was one of the signatures, and my son Ted was the other signature. It's when we finally tied the knot.
Yeah, I think we hit the jackpot.
Yeah, we did. I'm glad to hear you hit the jackpot, Kelly. Everyone should hit the jackpot.
At least once.
You know what? I always felt hope. My grandmother-in-law was that. I remember her saying, because she was quite a ladies' man. She loved the company of gentlemen.
Yep.
And she met one particular man named George. And I remember her saying to me, I could hear her voice in my ear saying, I never thought I'd meet the love of my life when I was 73.
Oh.
And you know what? I just thought, wow, isn't it nice? Like, she was grateful that she got to meet, that he was the love of her life. She got to meet him, and they got a few years together. And I thought, well, okay, that makes me hopeful. And unfortunately, I didn't have to wait till I was 73.
Mm-hmm.
But, isn't that cute?
Yeah.
73. The love of her life.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, there was one last question, and I don't know where it is. I think I wrote it down. I thought I saw it there. It's in handwriting. Look, I put these in the campfire tonight.
Oh.
There, that's the one.
No, this is the how did you come up with the
Oh. There's someone wanted to know, maybe I didn't write it down. Someone wanted to know about our tattoos. Do you think we were
Weird.
sisters from another distance?
You get to go first this time.
Oh, okay. Well,
Do you remember who asked?
No.
Well,
You know what? I'll look it up. I thought I wrote it down who asked about the tattoos.
You didn't even write down the question.
Wow, I'm losing it.
And I said to you, when you told me that question was coming up, and I said to you, I bet we got the tattoos for the same reason.
For a similar reason, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously it was at a life-changing time in my life, and I was ready to make a statement, and it had to, of course, be something I could live with because it's ink. And I forget how I learned about it. Mine is a lotus, right there, and it's really faded now. It used to be bright pink and yellow.
Yeah?
And
Scary.
yeah, no, it hurt too much.
Oh, man.
No, it's done. It's done. I'm never doing that again. I have another one up here, but that's another story. Anyhow, I found out that the lotus grows, and it's where it starts growing is down in the mud, underwater, in the dark. And it has to actually reach up through the mud, through the dark water, get up to the surface, break through the surface before it blossoms into flower. And I thought that was what I liked about that.
Yeah.
That I had been down in the mud, and I reached up and reached the surface. And then I was interested. I found out that, and this was after the fact, a lotus represent the representation. The meaning of the lotus is pure, and that's the meaning of the name Helen. It's pure, and that was just a coincidence. And I drew that on myself. And
Okay.
I told the tattoo artist. I said, "Give me a pen. I want to draw on my tattoo," because I wanted that stem to follow that
that
vein.
line.
Yeah. So I drew on.
So how old were you when you got that? Was it a specific event that
No, it was just sort of a whole bunch of things that all added up together, and I finally thought,
was this pre-Dan or post-Dan?
pre-Dan. I've always had it with him.
So, okay, maybe the story's not exactly similar, but the same sort of representation, sort of an overcoming,
Yeah.
you know. So, this might be a little over here.
Let me get my drink.
nursing when I had a catastrophic injury to my shoulder, and I couldn't lift, I couldn't push a med cart. I continued to work, and I was eating ibuprofen like crazy, just because I couldn't take narcotics and then give meds to people, right? Or make decisions, supervise people, and pretty soon I had a bleeding ulcer.
I was just gonna say, that's your stomach.
And my doctor said, "You're done." And so, sort of my base level of depression for a solid 2 years, and then deciding to go back to school, and I can't do social work, and because it was WSIB Workmen's Compensation that said you got to go back to school, and here are your options.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it was a big investment for them, but they give you options based on what your income is, because if you aren't earning the same or relatively the same income as you were in your job where you were injured, then they have to continue to top up your income for the rest of your life, for the rest of your working life.
Oh.
So, so if I was making $50,000 but I had to take a job for $35,000, they would have to top me up the difference between the two jobs. So they said, you have a choice. You can either do law clerk or social work. And I said, I'm not interested in law. And there's no way I can be a social worker. Do you know how
Draining, hard,
messed up I am?
Oh, see, I think that's what makes you good.
I think now that I know what the job is, I think it makes me authentic.
Yes.
I think my clients recognize that I know what they're going through, or I don't know, but I can
Sympathize and empathize.
empathize with them, or or if they tell me, I have depression or I have anxiety, I understand, right? Anyway, it was dark, very, very, very dark.
What?
Dark. In fact, I'll show you my art journal sometime. I did an art journal while I was in that place, and every week I would go see my psychologist, and I'd take up my journal and we'd talk about what's going on, what have you. And I have one page in my art journal, and all it is a black piece of paper, and I cut out a light switch, and I put the light switch on the black paper, and because I had said to my psychologist, like, I'm very concerned. I am very, very concerned about my safety. And I said, I've never been in this much darkness. And he said, just keep feeling around for the light switch. Just keep feeling around for the light switch. So I kept feeling around for the light switch, and pretty soon I was 41, and I had just finished my third year, I think, or my second year. I don't know. I wasn't done my degree yet. And I was sitting in the bathtub, and I said to Doug, I have never felt this good in my life. But I know that I have to stay on top of my what my guts are telling me, and because I'm very hungry, and I don't ever want to be in that dark place again. So I got the tattoo to remind me that it doesn't matter how dark it gets, I have the strength to get through it, and there's a reason I need to get through it. So yes, I lost my career, and nursing was everything to me. It was so much a part of my identity. I felt like I lost half of myself. He worked very closely for years with women, and I felt like I lost all my friends, and yeah, so I just wanted to remind myself that, okay, but there's a purpose to this. You will get through this, and you know, the fact that I had these two options, and I didn't like either of them, but I picked the lesser of two evils, I guess. And I love what I do, and I'm so damn good at what I do.
Yep. Beautiful. That's very good.
So that's
Very
my story.
good. See, I needed mine so that I could see it all the time.
Yep.
So yeah, that's why mine was right there, so I could see it, but also so I could turn it over if I didn't want to see it.
And mine didn't hurt at all. I just had buzzing in the fingertips.
And they mine kill. And I've launched some large children, and that hurt.
And you know, I just thought of another thing. It was just after, it was my third, I just finished my third year. And Jordan, my youngest, was 16 at the time, and his father had passed away in February. And, I mean, that kid, like, Lou didn't have any family here. He, you know, his family was in Italy. So his next kid was his 16-year-old kid because Mark was in Halifax.
Oh, wow.
So Jordan had to do everything.
Oh, wow. Next, everything.
Everything. He had to plan the funeral
As a
16-year-old. And, and I think that's one of the things I worried about too, is that I was so damaged that I was having an impact on my children's ability to function, and really, neither one of them has been a support to me in any way. I know they might have picked a different mother, but
We all worry about that. Everybody does. Wow. Oh, that's beautiful. And that's just a clip.
I'd say so. Yeah, like it's a commemoration of a travail. I've done this. I can do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. I think we did
So,
all our questions.
you did all of our questions. I think we'll have to do a part 2 because we have more questions from mine.
Oh boy.
So maybe we'll do a part 2.
Oh, I'm interested in your question. Very good.
All right. Thanks, cameraman Dan.
You're welcome.
Behind the camera.
You're welcome, ladies.
Thanks, sweetheart.
My pleasure.